morning, KCC. I hope you guys are well, and that wherever you're watching this video this morning, that you are blessed, that you're keeping strong, that your hope is in the Lord, and that your joy is strengthened every morning as you wake up and just find the Lord's presence. And so this morning I want to share something with you that has been on my heart a little bit for the last week or so. Something that I've been taking note of in terms of our communication, and I just want to share that with you. So although this might not come across perfectly, I do pray that the heart comes across well. And so this is really for us as a church where the Lord has placed us strategically and obviously according to His will within Richards Bay, Mtunzini, and wherever we are ministering at the moment. So for those of you that are not a part of the church, I pray that you'd be blessed by this too, that maybe the Lord would speak to you as well. But I want to look at something that I believe is very key for us, especially in the time that we're finding ourselves right now, and that is the way in which we communicate, the way in which we speak, the way in which we bring across who we are and the hope and the faith that we've got. And then I almost feel like there's a slight danger for us, even as Christians, to fall into the trap of becoming despondent, negative, maybe sarcastic. And I want to look at that quickly with you this morning. And I really hope that, again, that this is not a broad stroke to try and just comb everyone with the same brush, but I do want to put this out for us as a warning as God's people. I want to look at this. I want to also just pick up a little bit on a message I shared, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where God calls us, or Jesus actually speaking to His disciples, saying that He has called us to be the salt and the light of the earth. He even says that when salt loses its saltiness, what good is it other than to be trampled underfoot? And we are the lamp, the light of the world. And when a light is hidden under a bowl, it cannot bring light to the areas that it's in. And I want to just share off of that with you a little bit, but more critically, the fact that Jesus has given us the message, as we shared in that same preach, the message of reconciliation. And that He has actually called us, you and I, to be ambassadors for His kingdom, and to bring that message of reconciliation wherever we go. And I want to share off of that. I want to also look quickly at, and I think this is very, very important for us. I'm going to read a passage out of Galatians 5 first, and then I want to share with you something that I believe is very key when it comes to the gifts of the Spirit. Not the gifts of the Spirit, the fruits of the Spirit. And there we go. So I want to start off with the scripture quickly. It says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance," which is patience, "kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law." And you see, there's really two things. There's two elements. Before you and I got saved, we were displaying and showing the fruits of the flesh. Our not just the sinful nature, but just everything in the way that we would communicate, or the way we would live our lives, would be the fruits of the flesh manifesting itself in our lives. And then Jesus says, well, now that you're a new creation, you live a life by the Spirit, which means that as you live a life by the Spirit and you're filled by the Spirit, there's a fruit of the Spirit that would manifest itself in your life. Now, obviously, you and I don't always get it right to practice love perfectly the way we should, the joy the way we should, peace the way we should, patience the way we should. Man, we all tested on these things, even goodness, all these the gifts of the Spirit that we should have manifested in our life don't always come to the forefront. And I want to say to you this morning that is unfortunately part of the fact that we are not yet perfect. We'll only be made perfect that one day when we are in heaven with Jesus Christ. But for now, you and I are being made into His image. Okay, He is transforming us into His image, which means it's an ongoing process. It's not done, it's not finished. He's doing a work in us. But this is the thing that I actually want to share with you this morning that I think is vital for us to understand. You see, the word calls us, and I'll read this to you in Ephesians actually. I think it's Ephesians, let me just get my bearings here a little bit. Ephesians 4 verse 29. It says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building up. Only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs. So that it may benefit those who listen." And this is the thing that I really want to share with you this morning. You see, you and I are called to live lives by the Spirit, and as we do that, obviously the fruits of the Spirit start manifesting itself in and through our lives. Now, like I said, we don't always get these things right. Sometimes certain things happen, we feel negative, we feel frustrated, we might feel anger, we might not do very well with patience. But I think this is the warning for me. In the world we live in today, we tend to live very public lives. Even as individuals, some of us might only have 10 to 15 friends, yet on public forums, such as social media, WhatsApp groups, all those things, we tend to all of a sudden make however we are doing very public. Now, let me illustrate an example. I might feel today that I had an experience in town, or seen something, or had a certain memory, or just something happened to me which caused me to be angry or impatient, or to be less understanding, or just whatever it might be, which is actually a manifestation of the fruit of the flesh. Now, the inclination of the world is, let me get onto the most public forum, the most public platform, and let me display my frustration with the thing that I've experienced. And this is the warning for me. If I had to do that as a let alone, even if I wasn't the lead elder of a church in Richards Bay where the Lord has placed me. Let's say I was a saint in the church, bringing the light of Jesus to those around me. And in my moment of experiencing something in the flesh, I go out in the most public forum and share it with 500 to 1,000 of my friends. In that moment, I'm displaying the absolute opposite of what Jesus has called me to display. I'm displaying the fruit of the flesh, where I failed in the flesh to have patience or love in a situation. For some reason, I think I'm going to go and make this known to whoever wants to listen, whatever my bad experience is. And I want to just bring this to you this morning, because I think it's very important for us to understand this. Every single time we choose to make publicly known our frustrations in the flesh, our weaknesses and the things that we deal with, we are literally nullifying whatever good message we've put out there on the same public forums. So the very previous day, you might have brought a testimony about God and how good He is, and how He's come through for you, and how He's supplied your needs. And yet the next day, you display your frustration and how people are reacting or responding, or whatever your experiences of a certain particular thing, or just how tired you are of current situations. In that very moment, you're displaying the opposite to what you did the day before. And I almost want to say to you, I think you've just nullified a testimony that you gave the day before. And so we need to be very, very careful. You see, I'm not saying for a second that we are a bunch of robots who don't have hearts and flesh and things that are going on in our own lives. But when we struggle with the fruits of the flesh, we need to go and deal with it. And once we've dealt with it, we need to come back and display the fruits of the Spirit. You see, I believe the day we became new creations. Now, this is actually something that came to me, and I wrote it down, and now I can't read it because it's on my notes, but I'm going to try and do this well. I believe the day we got saved, the day we became new creations in Jesus, we forfeited our rights. Or let me rather say, our self-given entitlement or right to display our public disgruntlement or sarcasm or impatience to the world. we've actually forfeited that right, because the day we became new creations in Jesus Christ, He calls us now ambassadors for His kingdom, which means we usher in light, which means in everything that we do, everything that we speak, everything that we act in, everything that we believe in has to bring faith and hope and encouragement. That we bring only those things, and wherever we bring the opposite or feel the opposite, we go into the quiet place and sit with Jesus and we deal with that and ask Him to deal with that fruit of the flesh, so that we can come out of that secret place with Jesus and display the fruits of the Spirit to those around us, so that we can carry on being the light to the world. And guys, I want to just really strongly encourage you in this, because the time that we are in right now, that we're going to be facing in the near future, we as Christians, the disciples, or Jesus said to the disciples, the harvest is plentiful. I want to tell you that right now there are people that don't know Jesus, that are without hope, that are without the faith, that are without this message of reconciliation, and they literally need this message that we've got. And they are not going to hear it in their hearts. It's not going to penetrate when they see Christians that are going around displaying the fruits of their own flesh, their own frustration. But when they see the fruits of the Spirit being displayed in faithful Christians, they will be drawn to what we've got. And they'll see that there is a faith and a hope that is far greater than anything that they can supply for themselves. So I want to encourage you, in this time, it is vital for you and I to go into the secret places, to deal with these things that we feel, be refreshed by Jesus, by His Spirit, and go out and use the public forums that we've got to display the fruits of the Spirit to those in and around us. I hope this encourages you. I hope it settles you as well. Man, I want to come through this time of lockdown and see 30 people having gotten saved, given their lives to Jesus, getting baptized, being added to our number because they see the way that we live our lives. Even though it's tough for us, but they just look at us and say, man, what is it about you that is so different? Bless you guys. Go into your secret place and be refreshed by the Spirit. And let's do this thing. Let's honor Jesus with our lives. Bless you guys. Love you all and have a lovely day.